Good morning, everyone. This is Dr. Swati Mishra from International School of Business Management at Suresh Gyan Vihar University, Jaipur. We are continuing with the topics of advertising management. I really hope that all the viewers of advertising management course are finding it thoroughly informative and are also enjoying the sessions. And I really hope that you gain a lot of knowledge on advertising from these sessions. And today's topic is in continuance with the previous topic that we have already taken, wherein we have discussed what is target audience, how you select target audience, and how you design your media strategies according to your targeted audience. So today we will be discussing the same topic and taking it further, wherein we will be studying, what the target audiences are, how they are segmented. So the learning objectives of today's session would be to understand that how the customer base is segmented and the correct segment, which is the most consistent in characteristics, is taken as a targeted audience, and how specially the advertisements are designed for those targeted audience, that would be studied. So initially we need to first understand that how this segmentation takes place, and after that the targeting of the audiences actually takes place. So that would be the main learning objective of today's session. So let us first proceed with the session and try to understand that what we exactly mean by this segmentation. So before we start, I would just like to give you a brush up of what you have already studied with me in my sessions of marketing management. The videos of the same are already available on YouTube, and the related concepts that I want to talk to you about, so that you're just reminded of all the terminologies, are what is market segmentation, what is targeting, and what is positioning. If you remember the STP process. So what is this STP process? Market segmentation, the process of actually dividing, your market into a homogeneous group, segment, and using, maybe if you divided your market into multiple homogeneous segments, you use one of those segments, or maybe two range of possible alternative segments, each segment being composed of customers or maybe consumers who are sharing similar type of characteristics. So for any uh, you know section, or maybe a cross section of the market that you're taking, should have the population which have same types of characteristics. So there has to be a consistency in the characteristics of that population to make it actually being called a segment, right? So that is what is a segment, if you've understood. If we go move forward, now we come to the second step of the STP process, which is targeting. So the selection of maybe one or more of these segments to which you can correctly, send your message to in your advertising, or you can correctly strategize so that your advertising tactics that you are using reach the targeted audience in the correct manner. That selection of that segment would be called as targeting. Then comes the next step, which is positioning. So the relative perceptual position of any brand compared with its, of course, competing brand in the market, or maybe what kind of perception a consumer is holding for your brand, or your targeted segment is holding for your brand, would be called as position, right? So it is directly linked with actually the brand value of the brand in the minds of the consumers or the segment which is being targeted. So if you've understood, let's just, I have given you a schematic diagram of this process. When we start with market segmentation, the first and the foremost step is the identification of customers' needs and market segments. You have to develop profiles of the resulting market segments. And once the profiles of these market segments are developed, you exactly know the key characteristics of the population which is belonging to that particular segment. So once all this has been done, you know what kind of characteristics are there. The next step that comes is the identification of the target markets. So wherein you actually evaluate the you know level of attractiveness of any particular segment for the brand, whether this segment is more suitable for me, or maybe any other segment is more suitable for me, or maybe we can actually target more than one segment. So that attractiveness is measured on the basis of the characteristics of the consumers who are belonging to that particular segment. So once that evaluation is done, you move ahead towards the selection, because now you actually know that, okay, fine, these are the characteristics that are there in a particular segment, and this is the particular segment that suits my brand the most. This is the most this is the softest target on which I can actually apply my advertising or my marketing tactics too. And that is how the selection of the targeted markets is done. Then positioning, identification of differential advantages in each segment, development and selection of the positioning concepts. All these are included in the position part. And then once you have decided upon your positioning strategies, you move ahead towards your marketing planning, wherein the development of marketing mix of each segment according to the chosen position would be actually uh, implemented, developed and implemented both. So these are the related concepts that I wanted to discuss with you people. Let us now try to move ahead and discuss the topics in further details, you know, as to what we consider the market segment as. So segmentation of markets into any kind of homogeneous groups of them, maybe reacting differently. Yeah. Yeah. So I was saying that each and every segment, that it might be reacting very differently towards each type of promotional strategies that you are implementing on them, and the process of communication that is required for a particular segment might differ from the other segments that are there. Similarly, the pricing, the pricing strategies also are different for different segments. Different segments consumers would react different ways towards the pricing strategies of the organization. So you know, and of course, any other variable of marketing mix also. So your market segment should be formed in a way that creates some kind of difference between buyers within each segment. And obviously, those segments are as small as possible so that you precisely know the particular characteristics of those segments and you can create the most well implemented marketing implementable marketing strategies for those segments. So every segment can be addressed with an individually targeted marketing mix, right? Which means that for every segment, you can create your specialized marketing mix through which you can actually target that particular segment. So, if you just want to have a look at how these market segments look like, when you divide your population into different segments, how it actually looks like, you can see on the screen. The first circle here shows that how your market actually looks like when it is not segmented, and once you have divided it into different populations or different categories as per the different characteristics or basis of segmentation, like maybe demographic characteristics, psychographic characteristic, or maybe geographic or whatever. Then this is how your market looks like when you have done the segmentation. Now you can see that there are very small segments of the population also, and the dark pink and the yellow and the blue ones are showing that there are some large segments of population also. So these are how your market segmented markets actually look like. But your market segmentation should fulfill a few criterias of segmentation. So before you are actually segmenting your criteria, before deciding upon your advertising strategies, you have to understand that your market segmentation should be first of all measurable. It should be relevant. It should be, your segments should be measurable, which means that you can actually measure the population, the number of audience in that particular segment. You can measure the characteristics of the segments, and you can measure the level of relativity of that particular segment with the kind of marketing tactics that you are applying. You should always be able to measure the impact of the marketing or the advertising strategies that you are going to apply on that particular target segment. And the indices of these measurements should be set before you actually plan upon your advertising campaign. So, which means that we've already discussed it when I was telling you about the process of planning your advertising. I had told you that you have to develop your measurable indices to understand, the level of success your marketing campaign or your advertising campaign has achieved. Apart from that, your market segment should be relevant to your brand, which means that whether your market, I mean the audience or the customers who are belonging to that particular market segment, is it even relevant to sell that product to that particular segment or not. Like, whenever I start my lectures of marketing in my university, which is Suresh Gyan University, Jaipur. It's a NAC accredited university, and it is such a blessing that I'm actually working in that university. So, whenever I take my lectures of marketing, the first question that I ask to my students is, you know, that whom would you consider a good marketer? or a good advertiser. This is just to, get an idea of what actually the students believe about marketing before they actually study marketing, or what they actually think about advertising before they actually enter into studying advertising. So I always find that, you know, the students start giving me some examples like, ma'am, a good marketer is the one who can sell comb to a bald man. And the students are in a way right, I suppose, because that is what is the feeling, that you should be able to convince even a bald man to have the comb or buy the comb. Maybe could be different purposes like eating or for their family members, or maybe just if it is actually giving some kind of acupressure to his scalp and helping him develop new hair. But it's very obvious that new hair are not developed so easily, and every time a person wouldn't buy combs just for itching purposes. And we are not some street sellers. Okay, you should be street smart. I'm not denying that fact. But here in Gyanmar University, Dr. Swati Mishra, the specialist in marketing, does not believe in creating some cons. We are not some cons, we are marketers and we are advertisers. And future advertisers and marketers actually believe in customer centric marketing. If you want to develop any kind of customer loyalty and you want your customer to come back to you again and again, it is really important for you to understand what the customer actually needs, find out which population would be actually interested in buying your combs instead of running after a bald man to sell your comb. There are thousands who have hair. Make them your brand loyals. Because you're not doing any street selling, you're going to be future marketers and advertisers. So the relevance of the target market has to be understood, right? Another question would be whether you should, sell a refrigerator to an Eskimo. That is the second question that I ask in my classes. And then a lot of students get confused, get hesitated by the answers that they had given me earlier, and then they say that no, ma'am, I don't think so, because Eskimos mostly live in such cool zones, and why to sell them refrigerators? And then I tell them that that is what is meant by judging the relevance of the target audience, because it is very relevant to sell the refrigerator to the Eskimos, because refrigerator is something that, because Eskimos are living in areas which have minus 50-degree, 30-degree temperatures, and the food gets frozen over there, and refrigerators would actually help them to bring down that temperature to the normal edible conditions, make the food edible for them, provided they have electricity. So relevance has to be always judged before segmenting your markets, before you are deciding upon your advertising or your marketing strategies. Let us move ahead and find out what is distinguishable. It means that whatever segments you are creating, right, whatever market segmentation you are doing, should be correctly identifiable or distinguishable from each other, right? And that is why high amount of consistency is required in the characteristics of each and every targeted segment. It should not happen that the characteristics of two different segments are totally matching each other, And how do you say that you have actually segmented, and how would you actually design different types of marketing and advertising plans for different segments if you are not able to distinguish between those segments correctly? And then comes feasibility, which means that actually the targeted audience should be feasible enough or workable enough for your marketing plans to work on them. So once we have understood that how the segmentation is done for advertising purposes, we I will just give you a refresher of what you have already studied in marketing and how you are segmenting your consumer base. Your consumer base can be, you know, segmented on the basis of the demographic characteristics, the geographics, which means the location where the population is actually located, geodemographics, you know, demographics based on the geographic areas, psychographics, which means what kind of psychology, past experiences, knowledge, and overall values a person is carrying, which would actually form a consumer psyche, which is highly important for any advertiser to judge before actually implementing a marketing or an advertising strategy on that particular segment. The next is behavioral basis of segmentation, wherein you are analyzing the behavior of the population and segmenting the population based on that. And the last one is, you know, the benefits which are, you know, sought after from any particular segment, which means that, what is the level of beneficiality of any particular segment, whether one segment is going to be more beneficial than other or less beneficial. So all these bases have to be understood properly. Let's just discuss them in details now. When I am trying to segment my consumers on the basis of demographics, it means that you know that segment should consist of, this demographic segmentation consists of dividing the market into groups based on some variables like, age, gender, family size, income, occupation, education, religion, race, and nationality, etc. So, if you have actually segmented your targets on gender basis, it would be required when you are actually targeting any one particular gender for your advertising strategies that you're going to implement on that gender. Say it is very obvious, that the homemaker, females are the homemakers and they are the ones who are making the decisions of some products like which type of detergent powder would be used in the house for washing the clothes. And that is why the advertising strategies of detergent powders are mostly directed towards that particular gender. So, this is what is segmentation on the basis of demographics. Then, if the consumer segmentation is done on the basis of the geographies where your targeted audience are located, maybe certain countries, regions are assumed to have some common characteristics within their population, and they are assumed to have those characteristics which actually influence their buying decisions. So in any ways, whenever we talk about international marketing or advertising, characteristics like population, income per head, trade carried out by the country, as well as the tastes and the nature of competition in the market, postcodes, city, town, village, region, density, climate, etc., would be based on the geographics. Let us move ahead now and discuss some other basis of segmentation. So the next basis is geodemographics. Say whenever the segmentation of consumers, is done on the basis of where they live, using the using the demographic data to classify the neighborhoods, then it would be called as geodemographic, right? And if we talk about the psychographic, like what kind of psychology a person is carrying, would obviously mold his ideas, his likes, his dislikes, his tastes, his personality, his choices. So that is why psychographic segmentation is also a very important basis of segmentation. Like if any person is very adventurous, free spirited, the car that is shown on the screen would be more suited to them. So that is what is psychographic segmentation. It is concerned with identifying the personality traits, distinguishing those characteristics into groups of population. For example, maybe young and outgoing people for the sale of new forms of music that has come, or maybe gray and conservative for the classical and the music of the 60s and the 70s. So, personality values, lifestyle, attitude, motivations, interests, and opinions would all be a part of the psychographic segmentation. Then comes, your behavioral segmentation. Maybe this type of segmentation actually looks at the consumer behavior patterns. Maybe, like who does frequent purchases, who's doing infrequent purchases, loyalty to a product, etc. So, the benefits which they are looking after uh, from a product, purchase occasions of the product, usage, buyer readiness stage, at which stage of consumer behavior is the buyer right now, the perceptions they carry, and the beliefs that they have about that particular brand. These all things would actually help in modifying the kind of attitude or perception any particular consumer have towards the brand, the stage, it would also help the advertiser to decide the stage at which that particular customer or the consumer is right now, whether he's ready to buy the product or not, at which level of readiness has he reached in making the buying decision. Then there is the benefit segmentation, which divides the markets on the basis of specific benefits uh, or outcomes, the consumers want from a product or a service. Okay, so there are different examples of segmentation. Let's take an example of a particular luxury hand cream product segmentation, and the results will show you who would be able to afford it, and this would lead to certain income groups that would actually apply in that segmentation criteria. Then, if a higher majority of females may be more likely to purchase the hand cream, then these are shown as the homemakers within the census. Then, of course, if maybe the product may be possibly appeal to the drivers between the age of 30 to 50 plus with no children, or maybe a segmentation can be done on the basis of certain occupations which may be more likely to use the cream, like the gardeners who get rough hands, because of the labor that they do, excessive water users, people who swimmers, other dry conditioned occupations also sometimes. So these would be the basis of segmentation actually. So now we reach upon, once we have understood what is segmentation, we reach upon towards targeting, and we need to understand as to what targeting is. So an analysis of a market might identify a range of segments that could offer potential to the organizations. That is what is targeting, right? So how to determine, different segments which you want to enter? So, whenever undifferentiated type of marketing is done, then it is called as mass marketing. So all consumers have different similar needs for a specific kind of product. Homogeneous market or demand is so diffused, it is not worthwhile to differentiate and try to make that demand more homogeneous. So, there could be different types of strategies in that case also, like the pricing strategy, promotional program, which is aimed at everybody, maybe a type of product with little or no variation for ready for mass production for all the entire population, distribution system which is aimed at distributing the product in bulk to entire market. So that is what is undifferentiated marketing. Now, if we come across the differentiated marketing, then that involves marketing in a number of segments, developing a separate marketing strategy for each and every segment separately. So, you know, there could be a product from the same brand for every type of segment. So you have to understand that, which product would suit which type of segment. So when you are trying to determine, how many segments to enter, right? The foremost important thing is to understand what is concentrated or target marketing. So when a large share of one or a few sub-markets are taken, and it is really good when companies' resources are also very limited. So in that case, what you do, you take a large share of some sub-markets and then you target them. So once you've understood that what is targeting, we would move ahead towards positioning. So simply positioning is how your target market identifies or defines you in relation to your competitors, right? So if I say that, the brand is holding a good position, with this you have to first understand that what is the condition that makes you unique. So this is considered as a benefit by your target market. Okay. So whenever the market actually knows that you have something that is unique as compared to the other competitors, it is very obvious that your position is strengthened in the market very well. So that is why positioning is, it's the way we want the consumers to actually think, you know, whether rationally or not, but how you want to actually, in fact, it should be rational. Every consumer is rational today. Sometimes, of course, there are some um, different appeals also, like emotionally attached to some brands. Some people are like that. So it is actually the way we want the consumers to think rationally and feel emotionally about a particular brand, right? So whenever you are trying to develop your positioning strategies, you have to understand that what position. First of all, you have to analyze what is your position currently. So the first thing that you need to understand is that what position do we have right now. Once we have, analyzed that, okay, fine, we have this position right now, This is the number of people who are actually liking us. This is the number of people who are not liking us, or maybe are neutral about the brand, or the competitors are eating a huge share of us, and we can actually conquer them if we try to implement some different types of strategies. So then, which means that you also have to, once you understand what is your position now, you also have to understand that what position do we want to own in future. Then from whom must we win this position? Who are the competitors who are actually having that position already in the market? So which companies or which competitors are there whom we as a brand want to conquer and acquire their positions in the market? That we have to understand. The next is, we need to understand that do we have the money to do the job or not? Whether we have that much of budgets which will be required to actually implement this positioning strategy, this marketing campaign that we are designing to position ourselves in the market as a brand, or as a very well known brand with a lot of goodwill. We also have to understand whether we have the tenacity to stay with it, whether we have that kind of perseverance and persistence that we will stay in that position for a longer duration of time, and we will have to keep the promises that we are going to make to the customers or the consumers or the targeted audience. So we need to understand all these things. And lastly, we also have to understand whether our creative strategy actually matches the requirements that we have to position ourselves in the market. So once all these things are done, you can easily design your positioning strategy. So whenever we talk about the positioning strategies, it actually means that how we are going to position ourselves in the market. So there could be different bases of positioning, maybe by the attributes and the benefits which are sought after by the customers, giving them better than your competitors, by the kind of price and the quality that is offered. The best price should be offered with the least compromised quality to the customer if you actually want to remain at the kind of position that you are trying to create for yourself. Because creating the position might be easy, but what is more difficult is to maintain that position. So the next step is, by use or by any kind of application, you can develop your positioning strategies. You can class your product into any kind of segment, and make it suitable for that kind of people who have that psychographic or demographic or geodemographic segmentation. Then by the basis of the product users, by the basis of competitors, on by cultural symbols, there could be n number of ways of positioning your product in the market, right? So here is a small example that I have given to you people to understand, what are the different bases, how this segmentation is actually done. So as I've told you, that segmentation is nothing but dividing your population into different stratas, so that you correctly know that which segment we are right now targeting, what are the characteristics of these segment, and how I can best implement some strategies on that particular segment so as to achieve the best possible results. Are you understanding everything or not? I hope that I have been able to do justice to this topic, and I have made you understand the topic in the simplest form. So whenever you are dividing the total heterogeneous market for a good or maybe for a service that you have to offer, and what you are doing, you are dividing it into smaller groups, and those groups are very homogeneous. They are not heterogeneous in their characteristics, rather they are very homogeneous in their characteristics. which means that if you will drag a sample out of one particular group, one particular segment of the market, then you will find that the characteristics of the population that is belonging to that particular segment are more or less similar to each other. That is what is known as homogeneity in the characteristics of a particular segment. So once they are homogeneous, like for example, that in one particular segment, there are a lot of bicycle riders. So you can see on the screen how those segmentations are done. There could be people who are bike riders only because they are environmentalists and they are believing in the fact that by driving automobiles and two wheelers, they are creating a lot of population. For at least small, simple things, they should ride cycles and try to save the environment. Then another type of bike riders would be the transportation riders who are riding bicycles for transportation purposes, for moving from their residence to their workplaces, or maybe trying to deliver a few things through those bikes, like maybe milk delivery to different households, newspaper delivery to different households. So it could be different reasons of doing this. And there are some people who only do bike riding for exercise purposes, that it would keep them fit and they are riding the bicycle daily for more than 20 kilometers every day. So that is what are the different bases of you know bicycle riders. Similarly, there are some who do off-road adventures. And off-road adventures is like when you are trying to take your bikes into uh, land areas which are not comfortable for actually riding the bikes, and they are doing a lot of adventure sports over there, like jumping the bikes from one place to the other, where in between there is a lot of water stored or there is a small water body. So these kind of stunts are done by them, and this is the basis on which you will segment your market into different bike riders, right? And obviously, if I pick up the segment called exercises, I will find that all the customers who are there are interested in buying the bicycles only for exercise purposes. There is a big group of environmentalists. They are interested in buying the bicycles only because they believe that it is creating a lot of population and it is a part of their social responsibility. And there are bicycle riders who are extremely interested in off-road adventures. So when I will pick up this category of off-road adventures, what will happen? All the bicycle riders in this group will be having a passion towards off-road adventures. So this is how you divide your total heterogeneous market for a particular good or service that is being offered into smaller groups which are more homogeneous. So I really hope that I was able to deliver the correct information to you people, and I really hope that this session was pretty informative for you people, and you must have understood as to what the learning outcome of this session should be, that you have understood the segmentation, targeting, and positioning. Once again, after studying marketing management as a subject, you must have understood it by now, and you should be able to actually deliver the best whenever any question is asked to you on the basis of segmentation, targeting, and positioning. I also have some self developed case studies on segmentation and targeting and positioning by different brands in the market. So, if you want those case studies, you can just ping me in the message boxes so that I can share the links of those case studies with you people. You can go through them and understand the STV process in far more details, right? And with this, we have almost come to the end of today's session. I hope that all of you have understood the STP process in marketing and advertising thoroughly. And if need be, I am ready to solve all your queries and questions related to the topic. You just have to leave your comments in the message boxes so that I can reply to those queries that you have, right? So, with this, we are almost proceeding towards the end of the session. I really hope that you all liked the session very much. And please keep watching the videos of advertising management. This is Dr. Swati Mishra from International School of Business Management at Suresh Gyan Vihar University, Jaipur, signing off. Thank you so much and have a nice day.